What this video is going to be about is changing this. So this guy's right here is coolant for the BRZ 86 GR86 chassis. And what we're going to be using is the Redline Super Cool with water wetter. This guy is going to be able to reduce our temperatures. The person bought it for me. I'm not sure exactly what happened. I think that it might have overheated or what have you, because you do see signs of, you know, the radiator hoses swollen and, you know, corrosion on the filler neck. And that actually leads us into what we're going to be replacing as well. As you see, I'm totally drenched in sweat. That fan that I need to get, I really need to get it like as soon as possible because I'm dying. Kind of ties into what we're going to be doing today. So along with the coolant, we're also going to be changing out the coolant hoses. As you see, I have HPS silicone reinforced heater hoses, as well as HPS silicone reinforced radiator hoses. So these guys are going to be a whole lot better than stock OEM rubber hoses. They're going to have more strength and more durability and really reliability. Also going to install this guy right here. This is an all aluminum radiator filler neck. As you see there, nice welds. It also has a port if you wanted to ever put a coolant temperature gauge. I did have to purchase this radiator cap separately. I got the one from Jackson Racing, as you see there. So it can just, you know, match up with the Jackson Racing oil cooler slash radiator, aluminum radiator that we have installed already. Along with those guys, we're going to be installing this Mishimoto performance thermostat. This is going to help, you know, keep our temperatures down. I figured if I'm taking off the radiator hoses, I might as well go ahead and upgrade the thermostat while I'm there. And this just might be a little bit overkill, but I don't want to have any reliability issues from Sylvie 2.0. So I just want to go ahead and take care of it altogether. All right, so once you jacked it up, you're going to want to look into the lower end of the bumper. You're going to see this little opening right here. Typically, there's a little, you know, cover there, but as you see, mine is gone. But there is going to be a little drainage bolt right here. As you see there, it's in the middle of my HKS intercooler bracket. But you remove that bolt, it's going to start draining out the coolant. That way we can go ahead and start removing the hoses. For those of you that are going to have, you know, the stock radiator, you're not going to have that guy. You're actually going to have a nice little drain and fill plug that you want to unscrew, and it's going to let all the coolant out, which is kind of better than this bolt right here. So I'm going to go ahead and start doing that. Okay, so now that we drain all the coolant, we can go ahead and start taking off the filler neck as well as the two radiator hoses here on the top. These hoses are really swollen because I could barely take this one off. You see how much is swollen right here? So that's why I think that it definitely overheated at one point. And we took off the filler neck. As you see, there's a bunch of corrosion on this guy. And we took off the second one. And what I like to do is grab some sandpaper and just kind of clean off the surface that the old hose was sitting on, just to make sure that there's no dirt or grime that's sitting there. And also don't forget to take off your coolant reservoir so that you can go ahead and empty all the old coolant out. And to do that, all you want to do is remove the two 10mm bolts that are on the top, and then it should slide right out. All right, so I filled it up with the new coolant and I can go ahead and reinstall it. Okay, and now that we took off the old hoses and we cleared out the old coolant from the extra coolant reservoir, we can go ahead and install the new hoses. One recommendation I will say is to lube up the radiator hoses with some coolant just so it can slide on a little bit easier. And then we're going to put on our filler neck. Don't forget to put on your hose clamps. All right, and one thing you have to pay attention to is the size of your clamps for your silicone hoses, because if you see here, we have 45 for the two that actually go to the radiator and to the filler neck. And then we actually have a 50 to go to the one to the engine, to the filler neck, and the two bottom ones at the lower radiator hose. So do be mindful of that. And you want to put back your nuts that hold the filler neck down. All right, guys, so it's the next day. I had to pack everything up because it was dark. I bought a fan, so I won't be burning. And then I also have a little helper here with me. We got Santiago. We got Tito right here in the background. You know, I got my my helper. He's just the helper of the helper. So Santiago's going to be holding the camera. But all we really have to do is remove this guy right here because we already installed the upper radiator hoses and the filler neck. So we're going to be removing this hose right here. There's going to be a hose clamp there and a hose clamp at the bottom. And once you're down here, you'll notice that you do have to drop the header to change your thermostat, which is right here. So I'm going to be dropping the header, thermostat housing, and replacing the thermostat as well. So you have about 6 14mm bolts on each side of the header. So you have two there, one right there, And then if you see here, there's one right there, and then two on each side. And then also you have to take off this overpipe where you have two nuts right here, and then you have two nuts right there. So this guy is just spinning, and I'm probably gonna have to break it off. And this guy actually already broke off. So I would highly recommend putting some WD-40 and using a little bit of heat to get those guys off. So I totally forgot. Make sure you disconnect your O2 sensor that's here. And for you stock boys, you also have a O2 sensor right here. So disconnect these two, and then it should drop down for you. All right, guys, we took off the header, as you see. You just need to take off these two bolts right here, and just be mindful there's going to be coolant in here. So just keep your drain pan right there. You just need to pull off the old thermostat. And now you can go ahead and reinstall the Mishimoto one. And just be mindful that it will fall off if you just leave it there. So you want to put back your housing on it before it falls off. We successfully installed all the silicone hoses and Mishimoto thermostat. We can move on to the heater hose. All right, and pretty much here you want to take off all of your hose clamps, including the ones at the lower end connected to the block. I think it would have been easier from the bottom. I'm gonna hurt myself. That's a given. So that's a given. I'm about to hurt myself. And you want to reuse this little elbow piece as well as this little bracket. All right, and now that we cleaned everything, we can go ahead and reinstall the hoses. All right, guys, so now that we put on the radiator hoses, we can go ahead and refill the coolant system. You can put a coolant right there to the reservoir directly, or you can use the little funnel system like I have here. I don't actually have the little collar that goes here. I'm not sure what happened to it. I think I lost it in the move. So I'm going to do my best to try to fill the coolant without making such a mess. And one thing I would recommend before doing that, of course, putting your bleeder screw in the top and putting the bleeder screw at the bottom, because I totally forgot to put those back. I think it's kind of stuck on there, boy. It's kind of stuck on there, boy. Hey. It's kind of stuck. I need something. Boy. Bro, why you put them so deep? Ah, it's leaking coolant.